And so for the past 2 years, I've been on a pretty strict carnivore diet. And over the last basically month and a half, I've been experimenting with bringing my carbs up with the carnivore diet as high as I feel like. Over the past 15 days, I've been very strict, basically having honey and beef. And in today's video, I want to share with you guys the results I've had so far. I want to share with you guys what a typical day of eating looks like, including my macros, my calories, and all of my nutritional stats. I'm probably going to cover how long I'll continue to do this. I also want to shed some more light on why I'm even doing this experiment in the first place. Am I just someone who gets bored with my diet, or is there a deeper reason? I'm also going to give you guys my results. Some strange things have happened to my body, and I'm going to cover that at the end of the video, and you definitely want to stay tuned for that because it's a little strange. Okay, so first off, here are the rules I've been following for the last 15 days. And my goal is to do this for at least 90 days. So each day I have been having a little bit more than just beef and honey. I've also been having green tea some days. And also a lot of days I've been having my typical turmeric lemonade for breakfast. So it's basically turmeric lemonade, green tea, honey, and beef. Basically coming in the form of ground beef. I like to eat a lot of steaks normally. I like with my carnivore diet to eat a bunch of fish and a bunch of other foods, but for this challenge, I've been filling the beef, and so I'm sticking with beef. I'm also using a little bit of salt to season my food, but that is it. So it's basically honey and beef only. So during the past 15 days, I have not been looking on Chronometer, counting my calories, looking at my macros, seeing how much fat I have, seeing how many carbs I'm intaking, paying attention to any of those specific data points or details. I've just been simply eating as much honey as I feel like, eating as much beef as I feel like. Also, I'm doing no intermittent fasting, no dry fasting, no water fasting. I'm just waking up and allowing myself to have green tea and honey, or turmeric lemonade and honey, bites of honey, meat and honey, beef alone, beef and salt, beef and honey. You guys get the picture. So before I get into my results, and before I show you exactly what a typical day of eating has been looking like for me, I want to go a little bit deeper on why the heck I'm even doing this experiment. I have a huge goal for this channel. It's to help people with skin disease overcome skin disease. And I know that not every single person is going to heal on the same diet that has healed me. And that's a super important fact. If I can use myself as a guinea pig and I understand how to read my biomarkers, so I'm able to understand where to shift before it affects my skin, I can help you guys understand that there's many different dietary options and try to uncover what all of those dietary options are. I really want to see what my macros are going to be like if I don't pay attention to them and I just allow my body to eat as much honey and as much meat as it wants to eat. Also, I want to find out if this is a viable option because I do see some other people upping their carbs with things like raw milk, honey, and lots of other things on a carnivore diet, and they're bringing their macros into a place where it's almost in that balance place, which a lot of times can lead to dysbiosis. And so for me, I'm going to see with my own body if my macros are in somewhat of a balanced place, meaning my carbohydrates are around 30, my fats are around 30%, and my proteins around 30% of my daily calories, or around there. Will it negatively affect my biome? And is it a viable diet for you guys to try to heal your skin? Last reason why I'm doing this experiment is because I love to break down my own belief systems and dietary dogma that it's out on the internet. Many people want to fall into one category, vegan or strict carnivore. Even within the carnivore world, there's the muscle meat eaters, there's the nose to tail eaters, there's the salt and beef only eaters. For a lot of people, they just blindly follow someone else's diet or advice without really testing it out, and they feel so constricted, and they might stay on a diet for a year or 7 months when it's absolutely not working for them. So for those of you who've tried carnivore, for those of you who've tried keto, for those of you who've tried vegan and other things, this might be another option. We will find out. I will tell you this, that my results so far have been super strange, but I'll get to that later. Let's take a look at what a typical day of eating has looked like for me so far. Wake up in the morning, having green tea with honey is absolutely delicious. It's absolutely amazing. And I will say, I have been indulging in a little bit there. So you could say that most mornings I'm having one big old cup of green tea, and in that green tea, I'm basically having 2 big, maybe 2.5 big heaping tablespoons of raw, local, delicious honey. I will say this, my morning tea gives me a lot of energy. My brain off of that tea feels pretty good. My stomach feels pretty good. I'm able to get to work and work out and do my normal high active day and feel pretty awesome. After my green tea, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours later, when I start to really want something to drink, a refreshing drink, I do my turmeric lemonade, I add a bunch of honey, and again, I'm kind of indulging. It's feeling good, it's giving me energy, and so I'm just following the rules of the experiment and seeing what happens. So I'm another 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of honey right into that turmeric lemonade. Again, it's 32 ounces and it takes me a while to drink, and so I kind of sip on that throughout the morning until my first meal. Okay, my next meal, you might call it a snack, you might call it just a sugar indulgence. Couple tablespoons of honey right into my mouth. Yes, yum, delicious. Thank you for that. Yes. Just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Okay, for my 4th meal, and I'm just calling these meals for lack of a better term, the 4th time I ate, again, I was wanting more honey, wanting more carbs, feeling in my body like, hey, guess what I feel like? Having honey. Those are the rules for this experiment, so another 2 big heaping tablespoons of honey in my mouth. That is a sweet treat. And then for dinner, I'm making just straight up simple ground beef, some salt, and then a little bit of honey drizzled over the top. I might be strange, I know, but I do really enjoy sweet meat. I've said it before in other videos, sweet meat is like my favorite flavor. And so a little drizzled honey and salt over ground beef to me is like a total indulgence. It's so delicious. That's my biggest meal of the day, and that's it. I call it quits because after that, and usually that's around 6:30, I am good to go. I'm done. I am getting on the chronometer so I can share with you guys the results of my day. Let's see, I have to input one more little thing. Okay, so pretty interesting. And this is like my first time really taking a look at this. And so it's not surprising, but it is a little shocking. First of all, let's take a look at my macros. So as I kind of thought, it's still somewhat of a fatty diet. It's 41% fat, 32% carbs, and 27% protein on this diet. I thought the protein would be higher, just based on the fact that I'm eating most of my food, my big bulky food, from ground beef. The total calories for the day, 2,643. Let's look at some other interesting facts to go along with the macros and the calories. As far as grams of things, this diet has 176 grams of protein, which is about a little less than a gram per pound of body weight. I think I'm sitting at about 180 these days, although I haven't weighed myself in a little while. And I may have gained a little bit of weight. 115 grams of fat and 240 grams of carbohydrates. So not some, excuse me, I gotta answer my phone. So not some crazy amount of carbohydrates, and I was, to me, fully indulging in the carbs and in the honey. So that was actually surprising to me that those aren't a little bit lower. Excuse me, that the carbs aren't a little bit higher. Let's get to the results, and I want to share with you guys kind of the weird stuff that's gone on from just simply changing my diet this much. Okay, let's start with the good, the bad, and the ugly. So no, let's start with the good. The good side of it is that my strength and my kind of performance in the gym and my performance out in nature, hiking and walking and cycling and running and roping and doing the stuff that I do right now, my performance has felt pretty darn good overall. I must say, especially in the gym, feeling like an ox, feeling super strong. My energy during the day has been pretty good. My mood has been pretty good, pretty stable. My mental acuity, here's where things start to get a little weird. And this probably has to do with the insulin kind of going up and down. And when I'm highly ketogenic and kind of fat adapted, even when I have a bit more carbs, one of the things I love about that is that my mental state is super balanced. A little bit more mellow overall, but also very consistent. With this honey experiment, my emotions are a little bit more drastic. I'm feeling really good, and then I'm feeling a little bit less good. And mentally it's following that same thing where when I'm on the honey, when I'm on the sauce, I'm like a laser beam. And when I'm not, when it starts to be a couple hours later and start to have that insulin drop, I don't feel that wonderful. Now after my big meat meal, that generally makes me feel great all the way until dinner, or excuse me, all the way until bed. And so there's no real drop after that. But up until then, it's kind of up and down. Digestion wise and bloating wise, I have to say that I haven't really had any issues at all. Not bloating, no gas, no digestion. I am pooping and going to the bathroom a bit more, and I'm also peeing quite a bit more, which is very interesting. Here's where it kind of gets even a little bit more strange. Even though I'm feeling good, and even though I'm not feeling bloated, and even though my workouts are going good, and I'm also probably moving my body and working out more, and I'm eating less calories than I normally do, which is strange, I'm gaining fat. My body's recomping for sure. I feel flat, I feel less muscular, I feel a little bit more like chubby, and I have less of a V taper, and I'm definitely, my body's morphing into something new. When I'm keto and when I have probably my protein a bunch higher, probably around the 200 gram mark, and all the other calories coming from fat, my body comp is pretty awesome for me personally. My waist stays pretty small, my abs stay pretty lean, my shoulders and my arms stay pretty muscular, my legs don't thin out too much, and my face stays full. I feel like my neck is getting skinny and my belly's getting chubby. It's very similar to kind of the body comp things that I went through when I was high carb, low fat, and when I was vegan. Another thing that's weird is my sleep has been 100% all over the place. Some nights sleeping pretty good, and those are generally the nights that I'm working out like a wild man during the day. But a lot of nights I'm having restless sleep. I'm kind of like waking up early and just not able to really have a good full sleep. And for me, I go to bed around 10:30, and I wake up about 5:30, latest 6. Hormones, sex drive, definitely off. That has directly to do with the lack of fat in my diet. I'm used to having a bunch of egg yolks, a bunch of fat, some goat butter, and the more my fat's up here, the more hormonal and the more that part of me is really alive. And the second I started having honey, I started craving honey and carbohydrates like crazy. I haven't had any type of dietary cravings in a super long time, and over the past 15 days, I've been wanting weird foods like pancakes and sweet donuts and all sorts of crazy weird stuff. So that's where I'm at so far. So far, halfway through or a quarter of the way through this experiment, I wanted to give you guys an update. I will continue with this even longer. Again, I'm gonna stop checking my macros and calories. I'm just gonna follow the rules for the next up to 90 days. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Remember to subscribe and share. Remember to give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave all of your comments and questions down below. If you're looking to get a hold of me to become one of my skin health clients, there's a link in the description box for a free consultation. The 3 Phases workbook, which is my step-by-step guide for healing the skin and figuring out a customized diet for you, is at holistichealthactivation.com, link down below. Also, I am still taking Skinessa, which is my probiotic, so that hasn't changed, and I forgot to put that in the rules, but I'm taking that every day. You can find a link for that down below as well. Anyway, guys, Instagram, Stuart, Rob Stuart, that's my name. That's where you can find me. In real life, I'm just Rob Stuart, S-T-U-A-R-T. I'll be back with many more videos. I'll give you guys an update in a week or two. Let me know down in the comments section how long you think I should do this experiment. I'll be back with many more videos really soon. Peace. Remember, you guys, this is just an experiment. I'm not promoting this diet by any stretch of the imagination. I've never done it before. I am a dietary experimental specialist though. I've done a lot of diets. I know how to read my biomarkers. If it doesn't go well, I will stop it. I'm just letting you guys know this. So if you do end up trying this, it's at your own risk because it's undocumented yet. I don't know where it's gonna go.